macOS Sonoma is coming out later this fall, and it's actually going to be a pretty decent update if you're using macOS. So, as someone who uses macOS on his M1 MacBook Pro and has used it for many years before that, I gotta say, the way macOS has come since Apple has decided to stop building off of the macOS 10 point whatever has been absolutely amazing because we are now on macOS 14 and it's going to be called macOS Sonoma. And this is going to be a quality of life improvements to macOS, I think. So while there might not be a lot of headlining features, a few of my personal favorites are the new screensavers that will animate on the lock screen and then slowly stop and become your desktop. So similar to that of how the Apple TV has those live screensavers, all these locations around the world, macOS will finally be picking up on some of those. We also finally get widgets on macOS. So this actually is similar to a few years ago when macOS had dashboard built in. So this was where you were able to see all your widgets, but instead of placing them freely on your desktop, they were constrained into this app that over the years it just kind of was like, oh, the app's there and no one really used it. Personally, I don't think I've ever used it once. So I've been very excited to see that widgets are coming to desktops instead of just being stuck in the Today view, as these widgets are going to be able to come over from your iPhone. So with the help of continuity, iPhone widgets will be able to be placed onto your Mac desktop and in the Today view. And this is going to be so cool because there are some widgets I have in mind for my Mac, like the fitness widget and maybe the battery widget for my iPhone I can pull over, which all that information right on my Mac would be so cool to see. And when you're using an app, they actually fade into the background and go with a gradient, so it makes it easier to see the content you're viewing, and the content you're viewing becomes front and center. We also have some new video conferencing calls, so if you're using FaceTimes, you'll be able to have reactions. So if you put a thumbs up, a heart, make a heart with your hands and stuff like that, you'll be able to have different reactions, and similar to those iMessages effects, it'll be the same thing. So you can have hearts, confetti, fireworks, and so many more, all by using your hands, which is something I think is going to carry over to Vision OS, and that's going to be pretty cool, because if Apple's doing it now, it's going to just be even better with Vision OS if my Mac can detect what gestures I'm making with my hands. There's also some new improvements with making you almost in like an office setting and kind of putting you in front of your content and having your content behind you, kind of like you're presenting in a room with everyone together. Safari got some major updates with macOS Sonoma. You now have the ability to create a profile for Safari, which will help keep all your browsing data separate from someone else. So if you want to make one for home, school, and work, you can do that. And as someone who's a student, I can't tell you how a mess my Safari comes when school, because I'll have everything in Safari. I'll have my bookmarks and all that just merged together, my passwords, and it gets kind of messy. While I do enjoy having it all in one spot, the ability to separate it and be able to view, this is what I did in school, this is what I did at home, will just make life so much easier. And Spotlight Search is also getting a little smarter, as it'll be able to kind of work like how Spotlight Search does on our iPhones. If you use Safari Search, you'll be able to just pull up any data, so you can type in like the game score of the Giants or something like that and it'll come up. You also have the ability to put any app you want into your dock by making it a web app. And then we also get some password sharing features that are brought over from iOS, but they are more than great to have. So we have shared password libraries. So if you have family sharing set up or just want to share passwords with someone, you can do that straight through the passwords section of settings or the Safari preferences on your Mac, and it'll be able to share everything right away. So you don't even have to add it or adjust it. You can add it straight to the proper password manager. You can also search properly more in macOS in messages, just like you can on iOS. It'll also have the little catch-up reply arrow, and if you want to reply to someone, you can just swipe over. macOS also gets stickers, and it has enhanced PDF and notes viewing, as notes will be able to autofill everything out with your information if you have your information set up through PDF scanning or the Notes app, which honestly is a great change, because I can't tell you the amount of times I've gone in and manually typed all of that information in on my Mac, whereas my phone would have just autofilled it in just like that. And then Notes you can flip through a PDF, and you can also link to other notes just like you can on iOS. You can also take your notes information and share it right into the Pages app to make it cleaned up if you need more information, and if you want to make different fonts, adjust graphics, videos, etc. You can do all that. keyboard is getting better autocorrect support, and also it'll have inline predictions as you type, which is something that I think is going to be very useful, but maybe get annoying. But you can always turn it off. And then also macOS gets a game mode to help your Mac be able to game. And personally, I don't think this is something I'm ever going to use, as it just seems more of like, I've never gamed on my Mac. I've never gamed really in general. So personally, this is a feature I won't be using. And overall, these are the big headlining features coming to macOS. But overall, I think they're more than welcome changes. But I want to know what your thoughts are, so feel free to leave me a comment down below with your favorite macOS feature coming later this fall. And also, while you're down there, if you want to hit subscribe and like, I'd really appreciate that, as it lets me know you're enjoying the content I'm creating. And I want you to remember, today's a good day to make a great day, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.